as you might have guessed from the topic of this video and the title of this video, this was meant originally to come out on 420. Obviously that didn't happen, mainly because the editing was taking a lot longer than I expected. Then, when I tried to upload the first finished draft, it got blocked for copyright. So, I have re-edited it again, and I just wanted to put a little preamble before here to give you some context, because I've worked pretty hard on this dumb little video, and whatever happens, I just want to get it out there so you guys can see it. And I just wanted you to have some context for the copyright blocking lasagna that will be appearing throughout the video. You may be wondering, why lasagna? Well, why not lasagna? I love lasagna. It's so good at helping block out copyrighted clips. You know who else likes flaunting copyright? Garfield. He sure loves showing up on unlicensed products. This was a bit, but I'm not really sure where it's going at this point. Let's just start the video now. Disclaimer. This video is a review and discussion of a comedy film that covers the topics of cannabis and recreational drug use, and as such, is not intended for children. This video is neither an endorsement nor a condemnation of the consumption of cannabis, though for the sake of those uncomfortable with these topics, viewer discretion is advised. With that all said, let us begin. Golly gee, it sure is a nice, average, totally random day in April today. Damn it, my hair just won't fucking cooperate today. It's been a while since I've really made a video, so I figured, hey, why not? I'll just review a movie today. Sounds like fun. Let me just reach over my shelf with my super long extendo arm and see what we've got. Why, look at that! It's the 2007 comedy Smiley Face, directed by Greg Araki. I guess we're watching that today. Cannabis. Weed. Marijuana. That Mary Jane. Wheel. That flowering herb that has left many giggling, staring into space, and rambling philosophically about inane, ridiculous nonsense for hours and hours. Among other things. And like pretty much every other drug on Earth, and generally speaking, any topic you can think of, there have been many films over the years on the subject of pot and the smoking thereof. The most prominent style of which these days is the stoner comedy. There are plenty of quality stoner comedies if you go looking for them, but the bulk of them don't really aim to be much more than what you'd expect. That is to say, a comedy about stoners. A movie made for people typically lying back on their couch, smoking the Zaza, so they can watch other people on their couch smoking the Zaza, I guess. Not that there's anything really wrong with that. If you're looking for a solid comedy movie full of pothead humor, you've got options. But it seems as though few of them of that specific type ever really aim to be much more than that. But one underrated gem in particular in this niche genre accomplishes just that, managing to be both an entertaining stoner movie and a well-made, thoughtful film at the same time, without sacrificing either side. That movie is, of course, our subject for today, director Greg Araki's 2007 movie, Smiley Face. Smiley Face is a surprisingly thoughtful and intelligently constructed take on the well-explored concept that is the stoner comedy. It's definitely flawed and not for everyone, but the directing, acting, writing, and general filmmaking on display are all just that cut above the competition that it makes Smiley Face really stand out from the crowd as possibly one of the all-time greatest stoner movies. The basic premise is easy enough to follow. A struggling actress named Jane F. is living her life in mid-2000s Los Angeles and is minding her own business one morning, waking and baking, as she often does, and passing the time by playing some weird game that looks like a combination of Zoo Tycoon and RuneScape or something like that. I'm not sure.
All I know is this game is so fucking cool when you're high.
Suddenly afflicted by a serious case of the munchies in her stony stupor, Jane proceeds to stumble upon and swiftly devour an entire batch of cupcakes that were meant for a party her roommate was planning. She rationalizes that she'll make him another batch to make up for it. She very well could mean it, too. But the cupcakes have other plans. Unbeknownst to her, Jane has just consumed an entire batch of cannabis-infused cupcakes, and soon finds herself baked out of her mind. Just alarmingly high. But she's safe at home right now. No need to panic. But then, things take a turn for the worst as Jane realizes she probably picked the worst day she possibly could have to get high. And the whole movie from that point forward is a comedy of errors that consists mainly of a super high Jane trying to fix the mess she's found herself in, and things slowly but surely getting worse and worse, and funnier. Now, when I say that Smiley Face is a smarter take on a stoner comedy, I don't mean to say that it's some dry art house interpretation of one that's above being silly and stony. This movie is first and foremost a comedy, and it more than succeeds at delivering the laughs.
Whoa, that was intense.
I more so mean in the manner in which it approaches the characters and themes. Jane is a character who makes a lot of bad decisions and obvious mistakes. It becomes clear throughout the film that her being the perpetual stoner that she is has had probably more than its fair share of a negative impact on her life. But the movie also does not explicitly paint her as a bad person for her actions. You can often tell there are times when Jane is trying her best to do the right thing, but she's usually either inhibited by the unfortunate circumstances she's found herself trapped in, or, more often than not, she's way too high and mentally impaired to make proper judgment calls. She just ends up making things worse. By most merits, the bad situation she's in is something she kind of did to herself, and yet, you still can't help but feel kind of bad for her. It also simultaneously manages to avoid romanticizing weed. Jane and other people smoke in this movie because they like to get high, but the movie never tries to preach about the benefits of weed or anything, and neither the people for or against it are depicted as definitively right or wrong. It's a refreshingly laid-back approach that allows for the story to flow smoothly and the comedy to do most of the heavy lifting. And when all of these elements come together in certain scenes, the results kinda just speak for themselves. I suppose the problem with reviewing a comedy in general is that there's only so many ways I can say that this movie is funny without also ruining all the jokes. That said, this movie is really, really funny. You can watch this stone sober, having never touched a single marijuana in your whole life, and odds are you're still gonna end up laughing your ass off.
When I get home, I'm gonna frame a bunch of stuff I love. Like lasagna. I love lasagna. It's so good and cheesy. You know who else loves lasagna? Garfield. Maybe I should put a picture of Garfield in a frame. You know, as a kind of shorthand way of saying, I love lasagna. That would be so fucking inside. Or how about a photo of President Garfield? Oh shit, that'd be totally meta. People would be all like, Jane, why do you have a photo of President Garfield on your mantle? And I'd be like, because I like lasagna, of course.
The technical aspects of the film are all solid too. Solid performances from all involved, especially from Anna Faris, but we'll get to her in a second. The editing and cinematography are also pretty creative and often play into the emotions and comedy of each scene really well. The whole setting and general look of the film feels very lived in and detailed in a way that truly captures the stoner's gaze, if you want to call it that. Sunlight is bright, warm, and glowing throughout the film, and generally most light is either explicitly pleasant and comforting or harsh and scary. What little food Anna Faris eats in the movie, she eats with incredible gusto, as if she finds rapturous pleasure in orange juice and Tostitos.
Oh man, that's exactly what I'm thinking. OG and Tostitos. Jesus, it's like you're reading my thoughts or something.
Speaking of Anna Faris, she really is the beating heart of this silly little movie. Her performance comes across as totally committed, and it makes nearly everything she does hilarious to watch. Everything from her many different facial expressions to her excellent line delivery, and even her exaggerated physicality comes together to create a very well-realized character. And more to the point, you believe that she's blazed out of her goddamn mind the whole time. She goes through the full range of human emotions over the course of the film, conveying so well the many sensory and emotional extremes that people can go through when they get a little too whacked out on goofballs. The whole movie is a series of ups and downs, and more ups and then downs, bursts of blissful cloud-9 joy cascading into valleys of horrified anxiety, then back through the calm, level plains of chilled-out stoner speak, and then back again in a way that is just as engrossing as it is fun to watch. If you want to track this movie down yourself, it's fairly easy to find. It's available to watch for free on multiple different streaming services, at least at the time I'm writing and publishing this video, and it's an easy breezy watch at just over 80 minutes. DVD copies of the movies have become kind of rare and a little pricey these days. I'm lucky enough to have one, but it wasn't that easy to get a hold of. I guess it makes sense considering how under the radar this movie still is, but I hope that changes because it deserves to be seen by far more people and respected for its genuine strengths as a film. It's a movie that deserves broader discussion, and I really hope that this review has encouraged some of you to seek it out and watch it for yourselves. Perhaps some people will even find Jane's journey to be somewhat sobering. Ironic, I guess. For a 2000s comedy that almost nobody saw when it came out, Smiley Face is not only an accomplishment as a movie, but it has aged quite well on top of that. It's a silly, funny, ha-ha weed movie that also doesn't oversimplify its themes, characters, or its discussion on the actual drug that's just as much a main character of this story as Jane is. The film simply presents itself and then allows the audience members to come to their own conclusions. And if you don't care to engage with the movie on that level and just want to laugh at something, you can just watch it like a regular stoner comedy and have a great time anyway. It's a real have your cake and eat it too sort of situation. If only Jane could have had one of those. Just remember, everyone, the devil's lettuce is a sometimes snack, not an all-times snack. Speaking of snacks, I think I'll take a page out of Anna Faris's book and have myself some Tostitos and orange juice. Dang. That's some bomb-ass shit. That there Jane might be onto something.
Not bad. For a person who happens to be quite stoned.